RxJS is extremely powerful and can create elegant solutions for both complex and simple problems. But there is no getting around the fact that there is a lot to know about RxJS and gotchas that might just ruin your day. Some gotchas are a little more devious and less obvious than others, and in this video we're going to take a look at a few of those. These are just some that are fresh in my mind as they are things I have run into commonly or recently. This is by no means an exhaustive list. We're going to take a look at about 5 operators, and there are over 100 in total. The first operator we are going to look at, or group of operators really, are the buffering operators. The power of this operator is that it allows us to buffer or collect values before emitting them on the stream. Take this for example. Rather than emitting the values one at a time, it will collect them in batches of 3 and then emit them together. However, we do have an odd one out here. The 10 has no friends to be buffered with, but we still get the 10 emitted anyway because any remaining values will still be emitted once the source stream completes. But that is where the danger comes into play. In situations where the source stream does not complete, we might have values that are stuck and never emitted, like in this example. Now we have a subject that can be nexted with values which does not complete. In our loop here, we are nexting the subject 11 times, but this means the 10th and 11th values are going to be stuck waiting in the buffer until the 12th value comes along. This isn't necessarily a problem, in fact it might be how you want things to work. But I've been bitten by this recently where I was just batching some things together for performance reasons. I had an initial set of values, and I had some values left over because the total number of items wasn't divisible by the amount I was buffering by. I wanted to handle all of these initial items right away, and then I also wanted to be able to continue adding more items later. But I had some items that were stuck in the buffer until later on when more were triggered. So the key thing to remember here is that if the observable you are buffering does not complete, then you might have stuck emissions. Next up we have throttle and throttle time. Throttling is sort of the opposite problem. Rather than emissions being stuck, they can be skipped and lost entirely. For example, we could take a value from some source observable and then ignore any future emissions from that observable for a period of time like this. Our values emit every 100 milliseconds, but we only take a value from that stream every 120 milliseconds. This one might seem kind of obvious. If we have an observable stream that is emitting once every 100 milliseconds and we throttle for a time greater than that, then some of the values are going to be skipped. But consider this scenario that may or may not have been inspired by recent personal circumstances. If I had a state machine or anything that was frequently emitting snapshots of the state of that machine, I might want to throttle the emissions if I don't actually need to react to the changes in the machine so frequently. But if the state machine completes, it will emit a complete value, and I might want to have some special handling for that. However, in this scenario, unless I get lucky and the throttle time pans out in my favor, the final value from the state machine might get throttled and thus never handled. Or sometimes it might not get throttled and will be handled appropriately. This can create a confusing bug. In this case, it might then make more sense to handle this final case in the completion handler of the stream. Another potential troublesome operator is distinctUntilChanged. This is a fantastic operator for dealing with situations where we want to ignore duplicate emissions on a stream, especially if we are dealing with primitive values. But if we are dealing with objects, we can get into gotcha territory. Even though these objects have the same properties and values, they are still 2 distinct objects, and distinctUntilChanged will consider them to be different. However, if we instead reference the same object through a variable like this, then distinctUntilChanged will see it as being equal because it is referencing the same underlying object. If this is not the behavior we want, fortunately we can provide distinctUntilChanged with our own equality function. This can be whatever we like, but commonly it is useful to use json.stringify to compare the equality of 2 objects. By stringifying the objects, we can compare them by their properties and values instead of by the object reference. And then we can get the result we want in this case. The last one we are going to look at is share and shareReplay. I quite often use share or shareReplay on streams, which is essentially a way to multicast or create a hot observable that shares the values of the stream with multiple subscribers, rather than re-executing the logic of the source observable every time something subscribes to it. But again, there is behavior that might be surprising here. Let's start this scenario with a regular cold observable. We create 2 subscriptions to this values observable, which emits once a second. We unsubscribe both streams after 3 seconds, so each stream gets 3 emissions. However, notice that the message from the source observable is logged 6 times. Any logic in this observable is going to be executed for every subscription to it. Instead, we might want to bring in share. This is all well and good. Now the 2 subscriptions are just sharing the same hot observable, and the console logs are only being triggered once for each time the interval emits. After we unsubscribe, our source observable stops emitting. But we run into one potential problem when we have a source observable that completes. For example, instead of this interval, we might be making an HTTP request or something that will immediately complete, which we can simulate with this of creation operator that will immediately complete. The intent here is that we only want the logic inside of the map to execute once, and then we want both subscriptions to share that result. But the actual result is that our console log gets triggered twice, once for each subscription, even though we are using share. This is because share will keep track of the ref count, or how many active subscriptions there are to it. When this drops to 0, it will reset, which means that any new subscriptions will trigger the source observable logic again. Since our source observable immediately completes, it would cause our first subscription to immediately complete, which would cause the ref count for the share to drop to 0 before we could create our second subscription. And so it creates a fresh subscription to the source observable, re-triggering our logic. To deal with this, we might want to use something like shareReplay, which allows us to capture values and replay them to subscribers that come later. This works quite well for this situation because now our init logic is only triggered once and both of our subscriptions can share the same value. But then what if we go back to the example where our source doesn't immediately complete? Now notice that even after we unsubscribe both of our subscriptions, the source observable just goes on emitting forever. This might actually be what we want. We might want to keep an observable active forever in case anything decides to subscribe to it later. Or this scenario might create bugs or memory leaks in our app. The difference here is because by default, shareReplay will have ref count set to false. Unlike with the default behavior of share, where it uses the ref count to track how many subscriptions there are to an observable and resets when it hits 0, with ref count set to false, it doesn't care if there is anything subscribed to it or not, it will just keep sharing. We can, however, configure the ref count behavior of shareReplay if we want. Now we get the same behavior as share, where the source observable will stop if nothing is subscribed to it, except that late subscribers will also still be able to get the latest value from the observable. Just because I use this a lot and I don't like typing out the configuration object for shareReplay, I usually create this custom operator so I can more easily share streams in the way I want. You could of course configure this however you like, but as you can see, these sorts of situations can be nuanced and the particular configuration you might need is going to depend on the situation. That said, I use this default share while subscribed configuration for probably over 95% of my sharing situations. If you found this video useful, a like or subscribe before you go would be greatly appreciated, and I hope you have a gotcha free day.